How are you?
How are you, sir?
Good, good.
I have a question about Columbia and the NYPD. Just, I don't know if you've been following the now former student who fled New York City because HSI was trying to take her into custody and deport her. Her name is Ranjani Srinivasan. So DHS explicitly said in their statement that the reason why they targeted her was because of 2 summonses that she received by the NYPD on April 30th during the height of the protests at the schools. Those summonses were dismissed within weeks after they were issued. She never had to appear in court. She was never fingerprinted. She was released. Summonses issued. Weeks later were dismissed. Somehow those summonses and that information got into the hands of the DHS. And so I'm just wondering how that could have happened. I mean, is the NYPD sharing any of that information with HSI, with DHS? Has the city shared any of that information with Columbia University? I mean, this woman she's a Fulbright scholar, Harvard grad, was not in the public eye at all, was not even in New York City during the height of the Columbia protest. She was out of the country. And all of a sudden, because of these summonses that were dismissed, apparently she somehow winds up on the radar of DHS.
Yeah, okay, we have been extremely clear, and I'll say it over and over again. New York City Police Department, they do not collaborate for civil enforcement. And I don't know the details of this. We could look into it to find out, but we do not collaborate for civil enforcement. And, how that summons information got out, that's something that you have to speak with the federal government about. We do not collaborate with civil enforcement, and we're very clear on that.
This was at HSI. They went and got a warrant from a judge at SDNY to try and arrest her. They went to her, she had fled. So, I mean, could you argue that that was a criminal enforcement and not, she was not brought up on any criminal charges by HSI, and it wasn't ICE officers, it was specifically HSI.
Yeah. And
it's just very perplexing because there's nothing else in the record about her, and Secretary Noem was very hard on her, calling her a terrorist sympathizer, a Hamas supporter, and there's no evidence of that. The only thing that they have are these 2 summonses that somehow DHS found out about.
Well, I don't know what's the extent of the evidence. They would have to tell you the extent of their evidence, and that's with HSI. But listen, I commend the secretary on her desire to deal with anyone that commit a crime. And I've said that over and over again, and I'm looking to collaborate with all of our law enforcement agencies, HSI, and something that many of us have failed to acknowledge. ICE is not a criminal organization. ICE is a law enforcement organization. Some folks may not like ICE and what they do, but HSI, that's a law enforcement organization. I'm going to collaborate with every law enforcement organization that's dealing with criminal behavior. The law doesn't allow us to deal with civil enforcement. And so whatever evidence HSI has, I don't speak for HSI.
Just if I can follow, so does the NYPD...
Yeah, go ahead.
Has the NYPD has the NYPD provided any summons information from April 30th to any government agencies, Congress, Columbia University? I mean, you may not know this off the top of your head, that. But it seems to be an issue because somehow, again, this information got out there.
Yeah, it's not an issue to me. We don't. No, here's what I'm okay with, because I don't want to be misquoted, because sometimes that happens. I'm okay with us following the law. We don't collaborate with any agency when it comes down to, we don't collaborate with ICE, I should say, when it comes down to civil enforcement. And I say over and over again, so we'll look into what you're sharing now, but we don't. We've made that clear over and over.